going on, dudes and dudettes? So just a quick update if you missed the short from the other day. I believe it was Thursday, where the top uncommitted tight end committed to USC. Pretty big time get because they were able to jump all the way from I think 15 in the overall recruiting rankings to like number 9, which was nice. But then some other places had them also jumping ahead and be the number 1 in the Pac-12, but On3 still had them right behind Oregon, who was number 8. So I don't know which other affiliate that was, but either way, still a big time get for USC. He's going to be one of the better weapons for Lincoln Riley's offense, and hopefully we'll just be able to open up everything for all the other guys as well, because even Lincoln Riley recently said in a press conference that he doesn't think he's a tight end officially, so he could be a outside wide receiver guy already at 6'5", 6'6", over 220 plus pounds, already being that type of athletic type of guy. I mean, Calvin Johnson comes to mind being that type of big time receiver out there. Drake London had the height, but not like the physicality size either. But obviously he will be playing baseball too, which would be pretty interesting to see how that part of his career goes out. But we'll have to wait and see. Definitely looking forward to the future for USC in that sense. Then when it comes to 2 future Walter Camp All-American honors that a couple of the USC guys that are on the team right now are getting, both obviously Caleb Williams and Kalen Bullock were named to that honor. It's obvious because they're one of the top guys on both sides of the offense and defense for USC. And a lot of people have high expectations for Bullock as well. Caleb Williams speaks for himself. He won the Heisman last year, will probably be the number 1 overall pick in next year's NFL draft. But either way, nice to get some recognition for the USC guys. Then Juju Watkins, the number 1 women's basketball player coming in. She just recently won her second, which was her back-to-back of the Max Preps Player of the Year award. Kind of didn't know you could win it as a junior in high school, but that's obviously how talented she is, and luckily she's coming to USC, so definitely we'll be checking out some of those games here and there. And then when it comes to Nick Saban, the coach at Alabama, he recently had a comment saying that one of Alabama's biggest recruiting threats is actually Lincoln Riley and USC, because he's seen what the type of players USC has been able to get and how they've been able to use the transfer portal as well. And he sees that they're building something special out here. So to get kudos from one of the greatest, if not the greatest, college football coach of all time, then I think you're doing something right. So hopefully Lincoln Riley does end up staying for a while and, brings a dynasty back to USC football. Then Michigan center Hunter Dickinson, who's been a really good player the past 4 years that he's been in college, recently said he's entering the transfer portal. I thought he would end up be going to the NBA draft, but it looks like he's wanting to play at least 1 more year in college. And both of my teams, obviously, Duke and USC, could use a guy, especially at that center position, especially USC, because they always had a Mobley brother or Onyeka Okongwu, guys like that, to help them out down low defensively and offensively. But this last year, they definitely missed it pretty badly. So to have a guy like that, top recruit like that, would be pretty nice for USC. And obviously, the richer would get richer with Duke. I mean, he would obviously be starting, but it's almost like there would be too many good enough players to play for Duke, and who knows where all those minutes are going to go. But we will see. And when it comes to Pau Gasol, yes, I think he was like up to be in the Hall of Fame pretty recently, and just over this weekend, he was officially named to the 2023 Hall of Fame list with a lot of people like Dwayne Wade, Greg Popovich, who's still coaching in San Antonio. So a lot of good guys in his class. He definitely deserved it. Was a top 3 overall pick when he was drafted to Memphis. Won 2 championships with the Lakers. Should have won his first one the year prior, but of course we all know the Celtics cheated. Whatever. But either way, yes, congrats to Pau Gasol. And then Trey Jones, an ex-Duke player who's playing with San Antonio. As of right now, he actually recorded his first career triple-double last night. He had 17 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. So congrats to him. definitely getting a lot more playing time because it looks like they are tanking, but he is improving as well. So that's the best thing, especially for a Duke guy for his career later. And when it comes to the Lakers, yes, they had a nice winning streak as of late since we last spoke. So they were on the road still playing in Minnesota. They were able to get that victory, 123-111. Anthony Davis went off once again with 38 points, 17 rebounds, which was nice. A lot of other guys, even LeBron, sort of stepped up, but it was pretty much an Anthony Davis game. And luckily, Minnesota was missing a lot of those shots, so not that mad about that. And then in their next game, they played against Houston, still on the road, and it actually was another victory, but it became their 3,500th victory overall as a franchise, which I don't know where that ranks total in the history of the NBA, but they threw that out there on the social media, so that's pretty cool, I guess. But yes, they did beat Houston, 134-109. Anthony Davis once again exploded with 40 points, 9 rebounds. LeBron James recorded a triple-double. Now he's tied fourth most in NBA history with Jason Kidd, who was obviously an ex-associate coach of the Lakers and, a Team USA teammate of LeBron James, so that's pretty cool history. Then Rui Hachimura came off the bench, or he might have started, but he definitely got more playing time because he got 20 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks. So it's obvious that playing him a bit more is good. I thought they were going to actually end up having to play him more because Anthony Davis did go down with some type of ankle thing, it looked like, against Minnesota, but luckily he was there back in the game a couple plays later. So definitely very excited about these Lakers going into the playoffs. So I know they kept moving up. I think they are at least at the 7th spot. As of right now, they're only half a game out of the 6th place, which means they won't have to play that extra game before the playoffs, and they might be a couple games also behind 5th if I'm not mistaken. So they could end up moving up with a handful of games still left to go in the NBA season. So looking forward to that. A couple of miscellaneous news. Disney supposedly announced, I don't know, I'm not getting this news from my main movie news guy, John Campia, but this was on a thing called Inside the Magic, which usually covers Disney news and all that stuff. But they apparently said that Tim Burton and the whole rest of the crew are going forward with trying to make a live action Nightmare Before Christmas, which is kind of like, why haven't they done this? It's been like over almost 30 years since that movie came out, and everybody's been crying for one, but looks like they're finally getting it. And of course, he's going to be teaming up with one of his most trusted actors that he always ends up going with, in Johnny Depp, who is most likely going to be playing Jack Skellington, which would be kind of interesting because he's not as skinny. I don't think any actor is as skinny as Jack Skellington, but it'll be kind of interesting to see what they do. Probably mix of live action and digital stuff. But, Johnny Depp can kind of sing. He was in that Sweeney Todd movie that's based off a Broadway play or whatever type of play it was. So he kind of has some singing chops, but it's kind of obvious that he was going to be working with him again, especially now that all that controversy is somewhat behind him in his legal cases with his ex-wife. So we'll see. Kind of interested in that. I am a pretty big Nightmare Before Christmas fan. Then Matt Damon. Yes, he's always been in the news pretty recently. Obviously, a lot of people in my family know him as Matt Damon. But he recently said that he turned down being in The Dark Knight to play Harvey Dent because he felt like he was going to be second fiddle, which is obvious because you're not Batman in a Batman movie. But that Harvey Dent character did have a pretty good arc in that movie, especially played by Aaron Eckhart. And they did a lot of stuff. I kind of wish they didn't, spoiler alert, kill him at the end. And he kind of went on to go to the next one because he did a lot of good stuff in like the last 20 minutes of that movie once he became a true villain. But I thought it would have been a good enough role for Matt Damon, especially at that time. But I think he felt like he could be more of a star in something else. I forget what he said he was starring in, but that was just another big hiccup in his technically career of making a bunch of money, because I know around that time, that was like 2007, 2008 maybe, and then a year or two later, Avatar comes out, and he was supposed to be Jake Sully, the main actor, instead of Sam Worthington. James Cameron offered him the job and everything, but he turned that down as well. And I don't know, this guy has been Pretty crazy. I know he said that later in the interview, he said that he did not turn down Christopher Nolan again, and that's why he is in Interstellar, like pretty much in the back half of that 2.5, almost 3 hour movie, where he's probably in it for like 15, 20 minutes the most. And it really confused me at that time because that movie came out the same time as his other space movie, The Martian, and I almost thought like those two were connected in some shape or form, but apparently they're not. But it looked pretty similar to his character in The Martian, except he was a bad guy in Interstellar. Spoiler alert, I guess, if you have not seen it. But if you haven't seen it, it's been over 10 plus years. You don't want to see it anyways. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Obviously, Matt Damon is doing pretty good for himself. But yeah, I just want to get that. That's just some crazy, either bad luck or misfortunate stuff, but pretty crazy. Yes, to finish this video off, San Diego State and UConn made it to the championship game tonight for college basketball. It's two pretty interesting teams. One plays very fast-paced and scores a lot in UConn, and San Diego State likes to slow it down, play defense a lot. So it'll be interesting to see which type of gameplay wins. They were both teams that were talked about a lot before the tournament. I just never had them going far because they were playing better teams. But then what really happened was they were playing actually worse teams because of the upsets, and that actually propelled them, I think, to go even farther in the tournament. But either way, it should be interesting. I'll check it out, most of it at least, unless it becomes a boring game or, a blowout, whatever, then obviously that's who's going to win. But either way, still going to check it out and see what happens. Yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.